And I want this to be casual. If you have any questions as I go along, unmute yourself, raise your hand, comment, whatever. I would love to answer any questions that you have. I'm super transparent. I am very, I share from my heart because I want you to learn from me. So you'll just see. I mean, I don't hold anything back. But I am Rebekah Williams. I'm a Diamond Ambassador, and I live in Birmingham, Alabama. So let me just start with my journey. I've been with Plexus about 3 years, and 3 years ago, or a little bit before 3 years ago, I had 2 children, and I was sick and tired all the time, like literally all the time. I promise you, I was in the doctor at least every single month, and I was like, this cannot be what motherhood is. Like I dreamt of being a mother. When I went off to college, my friends were picking their careers. I'm like, I just want to have kids. I don't really know what I want to be. And so I couldn't believe that I was finally where I wanted to be. And I was sick all the time. So my friend, before Julia started posting, I went to my internist, and I was like, my joints ache. I'm tired all the time. I'm sick every single month. What is going on? And she thought I had an autoimmune condition. So she took 8 vials of blood, and she was like, her son went to school, daycare. I called it school daycare with my baby. And so she was like, Rebekah, I'm not going to tell you a diagnosis right now. She was like, I want to get this blood work back. I don't want to scare you. I don't want you on Google when you leave here. She was like, so I am very concerned about you. So let's just start here. Well, the blood work came back fine. Well, that should be something to celebrate, but it wasn't for me, because I was thankful, obviously, that I didn't have some big condition, but I didn't have an answer either. So I started another company. Let me tell you why there for a second. Okay, so my husband and I both had great jobs. We were not in debt. We choose to live like Dave Ramsey. So, but we were not getting ahead. Like, it drove me insane that we had really fabulous jobs and we could go on vacation and all that, but I didn't feel like we were really setting ourselves up for our future. And I didn't feel like we were able to help others. And I just didn't feel like we were not getting ahead. And this home I'm in, we bought it in 1975. And I'll have to show you. I'll have to go look at my Facebook and look at my pictures. I'll go in my albums. And I wanted to renovate my kitchen. It was horrible. The house was built in 1975, and I needed $50,000 to renovate my kitchen, and I wasn't going to borrow it. So I had all this stuff kind of in the back of my mind. So I started another company to try their products to see if that would help. It was like $300 something a month for the products. And I was like, okay, this is crazy. I wasn't feeling different. It was not in our budget to spend that kind of money. So I saw my friend Julia posting about Plexus. And so I told my husband, I was like, okay, Rich, Julia and Jared, I grew up with Julia's husband. I went to college with both of them, really. Julia's my sorority sister, Julia Carty. Jared had been in the ministry. She was posting about Plexus. Her first post said, if you know Jared and I, you know that we would never do network marketing. Okay, so let me tell you one little secret about me. I was a snob. I was like, yeah, me either. I would never do network marketing. That's just not my thing. So that got my attention. And she was like, these products really work. And she went on to say, these products work because. And I was like, okay, well, I'm having these issues. She said she's going to do direct sales, so they really must be that wonderful. She's willing to put herself out there. So it just kind of triggered a lot of my insecurities. And I was like, okay, I'm willing to try. So, okay, hey, Rich, do you care if I try these products? I know that it's expensive, but I'll get my money back. Because remember that other company I tried? I got my money back. I sent all $300 worth of products back, and I got my money back. So I said, I'll try the products first. If they don't work, I'll get my money back. I'm not scared to do that. So I tried the products. And 3 weeks in, I called Julia, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. I have a headache. My skin is completely broken out. I don't struggle with breakouts. I am in worse condition than when I started. Okay. So that's week 3. And she's like, Rebekah, this is die off. You're fine. Stick with it. Keep drinking your water. And I'm a rule follower. Okay. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll listen. I'll drink my water. I'll keep going. I'll take my Tylenol. I'll power through this. And I did. And a week after I went through my die-off symptoms, it took about a week. I felt the best I'd ever felt. I was like, I feel 18 again. Like, this is what I've been missing. This is it. This is what I've been looking for. And Julia asked that I meet her and some of my upline. Andrea is like 2 levels above me. So she said, hey, Andrea's flying in from Texas. Will you meet Andrea and I at Chick-fil-A? Now, this was, remember, I'm just a preferred customer. I was like, sure, fine, whatever. So I go and meet her at Chick-fil-A. There's some other women there. I'm really not understanding what's going on. Her hair is in a top knot. I can't knock on that because I look like this today. They like were in workout stuff. I literally I was in insurance sales, so we call it suited and booted. I walk in, I'm in my suit. I've dropped my kids off at daycare. I'm like, what is happening here? These women, their kids are just playing. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I really was not listening. And Andrea's doing this PowerPoint, this slideshow. And I just looked at her and I was like, look, can you tell me how much you make a month? And she was like, yeah, $12,000. What? What? I was like, okay, you got my attention. I was like, okay. She was an Emerald ambassador at the time. I was like, okay, I'm going to tune in. So I didn't hear anything else. I was just like, here I am. I have dropped my children off at daycare, which is $1,000 a kid. I am not with them 9 hours out of the day. I'm having to get all G'd up, which costs more money. And this girl is here with her children and her workout gear making more money than me. I was like, okay. So I went home. I called my daddy. I called everybody I knew. And I was like, I'm joining Plexus today. And this is why. And I told Julia when I left, I was like, I'm going to sign up and I want $50,000 to renovate my kitchen. She was like, okay, fine. I did not really think this was going to be what it is today. So that is the beginning of my story. Plexus teaches you so much about yourself. I am a very outgoing person, but I'm a painfully insecure person. And so it has brought out the biggest insecurities in me, which has ended up being a blessing because I've had to work through that and power through. So let's go back to that day in November. I think there was 12 days left in November when I signed up. My very first ambassador the second I signed up, it was my daddy. I called him and I was like, oh my goodness, this girl's making $12,000 a month. We have to do this. And my daddy had been a preacher for 40 years. And he was like, okay, baby. And never had he done anything like this. And so he was right there with me. And I called all my friends. If anybody come in my way, if you'd listen, I would tell you. People would come over my house for play dates and I would tell them about it. Okay. So in 11 days, the month closed out, I made leaders board. Didn't even understand what leaders board was. I was just excited. Okay. So that was November. And then December 23rd, I'm not silver. I'm just rocking and rolling, getting a lot of customers. My daddy was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. I really didn't think he called me that night at 11 o'clock, bawling, crying. And he had the flu. I'd had the flu. He didn't get over it. And I was like, Dad, you really need to go get your blood work. Like, something's not adding up. My mom was with my sister. So he was not a compliant person. And he actually listened and went and found out he had cancer. I just thought, okay, it's leukemia. We're going to go get some chemo and we're going to be fine. No, not fine. 8 months later, he died. Okay. So I can't even explain that to you, but it's a very important part of my story because that was December 23rd. They lived in Florida. He was serving they lived in Opelika. He was serving church in Opelika, but all this treatment was here in Birmingham. And there's a thing called the Hope Lodge, which is like the Ronald McDonald House for kids or for the adult version. My point is they were here in Birmingham where I was. My other siblings don't live around here. So he was here. Well, the next month, January, I found out I'm pregnant. Did not plan that. No. Rebekah is devastated. Her daddy is very, very sick. She is not trying to add to her family. And okay, so I have a dying father, which I didn't quite know if he was completely dying of that. We thought we were fighting. And then I'm pregnant. Well, I didn't go silver till March. So I signed up in November. the business was just not like, in my mind, was just not taking off like my customers obviously were doing real great, but the growing of my business was not really taking off like I thought it should. Well, why was that? Number one, because I was comparing myself to others, which is my number one tip. Do not compare yourself to others. Put your blinders on. It doesn't matter what someone else's journey is. That's not your journey. They're not going to be the same. So put your blinders on and do not look beside you. I distinctly remember Julia going Ruby. I know the dress she had on when they put her announcement up. And my husband and I were riding in the car. I remember about all this stuff going on and working full time. And he said, do you want me to make you a team page? And I was like, no, I don't want a team page. Julia just went Ruby. She signed up 100 people. I don't know 100 people that want to do this, but I'm not even silver at this point. I'm like, no, I don't want that. And he's like, well, I'm going to make you a team page. I think you need that. And I was like, okay, whatever you want to do, fine. And he had like created some page for some ATV swap shop that has tens of thousands of people in it that he did. And I was like, knock yourself out. If you want to help me on Plexus business, go for it. So he created my team page. Crazy. And then the next thing is I'm not believing. I'm not seeing that this is going to be a possibility. If y'all know Julia, she's always on the leaders board. Okay. I'm her level 1, and Lindsay Robinson Russell is her level 1. So we are both diamonds, and I love Julia dearly, but Lindsay is the powerhouse behind that team. Lindsay and I, again, are sorority sisters, and we, in the very beginning stages, went after all the same girls because we have the same sorority, right? Holly Devers, who is an emerald under Lindsay, Melissa Amos, who is an emerald under her, or sapphire under Lindsay. We were both going after them. Melissa lives in the hometown that my husband is from, and so she signed them. Well, that was devastating to me because here are these women that I knew were going to be rock stars, and now Lindsay signed them. I wanted to throw the towel in. I'm like, well, she's got these girls that I know are going to rock it, and they were just adding like crazy, and everything in me wanted to be done. Those were supposed to be mine. Like, Melissa lives in Prattville, where my husband's whole family is from. Like, she can't take Prattville. That's my city, you know? So I'm having all these, I'm not going to be able to make it because she's taking over Prattville. And what am I going to do? So here I am finding myself. I did not want to like Lindsay. Y'all, I've known Lindsay forever. I wanted to be angry at Lindsay. If you know Lindsay, she's the most precious, smart, amazing. Just, you can't not like her. Like, you just can't. She's a fabulous, fabulous leader. And I wanted to waller in the fact that she signed the girls I wanted. If you have somebody, a sorority sister of yours, if you have a friend of yours, if you live in the same town as somebody's going to sign who you want. I hate to tell you that. It still happens to this day. So if you want to grow in this business, you're going to have to get over that because it's going to happen. And we're just going to have to put on our big girl panties and go, because those people were not meant to be on my team because they were growing really large teams where I was not emotionally okay to handle that. The Lord knew that Rebekah could not handle that at that time. So again, those blinders, and if someone signs under someone's team, give yourself a second and move on. There's somebody else for you. So here I am working full time. My business is going. I finally go silver in March, and I went gold in July. I distinctly know that because Daddy died in August, and I went senior gold in August. Okay, so I think I'm senior gold in August. My daddy is dead, and I birthed a baby that had a platelet count of 7. I won't get into that story. What that means is essentially he had no platelets. We did not have any indication the baby was sick. I discovered something was wrong with the baby. That could also mean some type of, blood cancer type stuff, because that's everything you follow with blood cancer patients. So my world is falling apart. My baby is fine. He's the one on the wall, but my world is falling apart. I signed up my friend Lindsay Bryant. She's a sapphire under me. I signed her in the middle of all that. In my mind, I was going to quit in December. I couldn't do it. I could not. In my mind, I was like, Lindsay had signed up Lindsay Russell had signed up all my big people. I was working all the time. I just felt like I couldn't handle it. Now, did I tell Lindsay when I signed her up that I was going to quit? No, but I had in my mind in December, I'm going to quit. Now, I was on track to go Ruby, and I still was going to quit. Anywho, I tell you all that to say life happens. I do have some good points here. It's not all just about my story. But my number one big point is believe in yourself. And I know you hear that, but no, really. Like, do you believe that you can go all the way? Y'all, I hit diamond, and sweet Lindsay Bryant called me and she was like, do you believe in yourself now? And I'm like, because she knows me better than anybody. And, you know, I could have quit work. I quit work January 19th. I've been diamond for over 6 months. I've sustained emerald since I hit 2 years ago. I could have quit a long time ago. Why didn't I quit? Because Rebekah didn't believe in herself. That's sad. That's sad. Believe in yourself. You know, and I think in Arkansas, there are like 19 diamonds. There are only like 4 in Alabama. I don't know. And I still wasn't believing in myself. Guys, there's still room for 20 more in every state. Like, that's crazy. You have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe that you are worthy, if you are smart enough, if you don't believe you have the network enough, the enemy is in your ear, and those are lies. So speak against that, because that is not truth. Be bold. I mean, be bold. Be confident. Don't skirt around what you're doing, but share your story authentically. When you go places and people say, I was teaching Sunday school the other day, and a girl said, you really look great, Rebekah. What have you been doing? I don't know. My husband's like, what do you mean you don't know? I was like, oh yeah, plexus. But sometimes I'm like, well, that's church. I don't know if I should say. He's like, no, you're just telling your story. So never, ever, ever, ever be ashamed. Like, be bold and be confident. You know, these products are healing people. They are changing lives. They're getting mamas off the couch. So be bold, be proud. My next thing is, the one thing in all my insecurities, the one thing I have done right in all of this and all of the craziness of working and everything, if someone expressed interest to me, a preferred customer, an ambassador, if someone expressed interest to me, I was available no matter what. No matter what. If I was leaving my daddy's clinic, if I was at work, if you wanted to talk to me about plexus, I made it happen. I moved my lunch break around. I called you on my way into the office. I drove 30 minutes to and from work. I'm in I was in sales. So, you know, I was on the road a significant amount of time. So I made it a point. I would call them back immediately. If I had not had a chance that day, when I got home, my husband and I were on board together. I would say, okay, hey, Rich, can you watch the kids? I need to call this person. And having his support was super, super, super important. But I didn't let any time pass, because people, when they're excited and ready to do something, they're ready to do it now. So you need to move mountains. And I'm serious, move mountains to be available for a prospect. And with that, if I had someone express any interest in the business, I wasn't like, oh, okay, let me send you some information. I said, can you meet me? Can we meet for coffee? Can we meet for lunch? If they don't live in your city, can we Zoom? Can we talk on the phone? Do not hide behind the computer. If someone expressed interest in the business, you connect with them like tomorrow. And I always said, I'd love to meet you for coffee, and I would give dates. Are you free tomorrow? I'd love to meet for lunch. And don't put it in their court. This is you are running a business. It is in your court. You go ahead and name 3 times that you know you can. So you're not playing well, I'm not free then. You go ahead and lay out 3 times when you're available, and go ahead and say, hey, can you meet? The next important thing to connecting, Brooke Smith, a diamond, my level 1 diamond, and Lindsay Bryant, my level 1 sapphire, both will tell you, I just jumped immediately. I met Brooke for coffee. Lindsay, I got to her house, guys. So she had just moved. There were moving boxes, like within days, moving boxes on the front yard. Her parents were there because she had birthed the baby like 6 days earlier. And I was like, oh, sorry. Didn't know I was interrupting. But I was so eager to, connect with them. And it's very, very much so paid off. But not only do you meet with them that first time, after you meet with them and after they are ready to jump on board and you talk to them about the business, you meet with them again. I met with each of them at least 3 times in the beginning. Number one, talking to them about the business opportunity. And Brooke will tell you, she wasn't even really thinking about the business. And I said to her, have you even considered working the business? But both of them, after they signed up, I met with them the first time to train them. And then I gave them a week, maybe 2, for them actually working the business. And I did the same training again, because it's like Greek. You don't even know what someone's saying to you. And so you need to go out and you need to be in the action, not too long, because you don't want to get overwhelmed with not knowing what you're doing. So give them a week or so with, them putting some work and match their effort. If they're putting in that work, then you meet them again, because that is time well spent. Even if it takes a sacrifice, it is very, very, very well spent. Both of them will say how impactful that was. I was always available for any of my level ones, really. And I try to, as many levels down as I can, definitely my 1s, 2s, and usually my 3s. Now, I'll do anything for any of my team, but I'm really being strategic about those first couple of levels. Remember, we are not in sales. We are in the relationship business. I have an accountability group right now, and our challenge to them weekly is to not reach out to, not cold message. It is not to reach out to 10 people about Plexus. It is to reach out to 10 people to build a relationship. I have this woman that has a really big activewear line that has just been signed to my team. And I was talking with her yesterday, and she was like, Rebekah, I can't tell you how many times I've been contacted about Plexus and just cold messaging, and that just turns me off so much. She was like, my friend signed up and we have an established relationship, and I knew I wanted to try, so I jumped on with her. The relationship is so important, guys. It takes time. It does take time. But we are in a season right now. I'm assuming your team is like my team. We came off of fourth quarter. It's always super slow. January kind of starts kicking back up. February kind of slows again. And then March, we're going to start kicking up again. So you need to be now building relationships. And when I say building relationships, I mean, if there's somebody on your dream team, then you go look at their Facebook profile. If you have not talked to them in a year, 5, 10 years, you study their Facebook profile and you message them. Your children are beautiful. Where did you get those outfits? Oh, I love your dog. Tell me, what breed is your dog? Like, whatever they are doing, you talk to them, interact with them. Check on how life is. They could be like me. Their daddy could be dying. Like, find out where they are in life. Get a pulse on them. I promise you it will naturally lead to, well, what are you doing now, girl? Oh, I have to tell you, I am loving these new products. In just voice text. Voice text when they ask you, what are you doing now? When you start to get into Plexus, because there's nothing worse than, hey, I am with Plexus. I would love for you to try these products, in like a text that you could have copied and pasted to 100 people. If you send a voice text, hey, Laura, I would love to share Plexus with you. It has been so amazing. I, was sick and tired all the time. My joints were aching. I couldn't even walk when I'd first wake up in the morning. And I've been on these products for a month, and I cannot believe the results. You've got to try this with me. Hearing the inflection in your voice and the excitement, you want to create FOMO. You want them to be like, what am I missing out on? I got to try that stuff. That hearing the excitement is super, super, super important. And don't worry about, am I doing this right? If you are building a relationship, you're doing it right. If you are being you are perfect. You are their friend. You don't need to be anybody else. You don't need to do it the way Rebekah does it. You don't need to say what Rebekah says, because you're not Rebekah. I don't need to say it how you say it. You need to be you. You need to share from your heart what these products have done for you once that door is open. But we have to be good listeners. When our friends are like, oh man, these kids are about to kill me. I cannot go another day with these children. I felt the same way, girl. I felt the same way. But thank goodness I feel like I have a chill pill now. Like, listen to what most of everybody that we are friends with suffer with something. Migraines, skin issues, anxiety. What if we will listen, the opportunity to introduce Plexus will come up, I assure you. My other big tip, this is my theme song. Life is hard, guys. We all have excuses. I'm getting to my theme song in a second. I'll tell you this, my person in my corner, we all need somebody in our corner. And when we always say, oh, find a power partner is what we say on our team. When you look for your power partner, I want you to look for somebody when you call and you're like, I cannot do Plexus this week. I can't talk about the pink drink anymore. I can't even deal with this anymore. You need somebody to be like, that's okay. That's okay. Take a second, get yourself together. How many people have you helped this week? How many people have relief from migraines? You need somebody in your corner cheering you on, telling you to take a breath, not a break. That's my theme song. Take a breath, not a break. And you need somebody picking you up. You don't need somebody that's like, yes, I'm so sick of posting on social media. Like if you have somebody that jumps on your bandwagon and pulls you down, they are not your person. Find a new person. My person, like I said, is Lindsay Bryant. Guys, her daughter was born deaf and blind. Did not know it at birth, passed everything. A few weeks later, she was like, hey, I think something's going on. At her checkups, they told her. Well, since then, sweet baby Bentley has had some major struggles. We do our accountability call together. And last night I wasn't feeling great. And she did the call all by herself. And she and I are talking today. And she's like, yeah, Bentley aspirated last Wednesday. We've really been struggling since then. She has every excuse. She pulls me up. Anytime I want to complain, anytime I want to, I'm not feeling well, I've got a head cold, blah, blah. I actually did take NyQuil yesterday in the middle of the day instead of Dayquil, so I did have a little bit of excuse. I was kind of hallucinating, but she's my person. Like, she always lifts me up. She always pushes me to be stronger, better, more positive. So find that person that will encourage you to take a breath and not a break. Because if you take a break, oh, it's so hard to get started over. It's so hard. And she and I are super honest with each other. Guys, this is work. It is not all sunshine. Like, we're working with a lot of different personalities, and it can be hard, but she always encourages me and reminds me that how it's so worth it. It's so worth it. I'm home with my babies. I spent the day at the park and a picnic, and I've retired, and my family, like, we just had to have septic work done. It was thousands of dollars, and that's no fun way to spend money, but we didn't worry about where it was going to come from. So it's hard. It is hard to work full time, to have life challenges thrown at you, but it's worth it. It is so worth it. So I encourage you to get a system that works for you. If you have time driving to work, listen to training calls. Be smart with your time. The only way I've made it is being smart with my time. Driving, I always listened to a call, made calls, called somebody back. It took discipline. I had to stay up some nights when I didn't want to. I had to do some things I didn't want to do. But that's okay, because you have to, just like Dave Ramsey says, live like no other today so you can live like no other tomorrow. So if I sacrificed for 3 years and worked extra hard, and now I get to pick my babies up from school, drop my babies off, I had a nanny that was doing all that for me. Like, that's no way. I was missing the most important parts of life with my babies. That's no way to live. Never ever being with your family. So make the sacrifices today. We all have the same 24 hours. So when someone tells me they don't have time, I just want to be like, man, I don't really have time for that. Because if Lindsay and I can do it, and all the challenges she has, and all the therapy appointments she's making, and all the alarms and bells and whistles that she has for that baby, there's nobody. She got on that call last night. She had her brave face, and nobody ever knows what she's dealing with, and nobody works harder. So I'm like, if we can do it, anybody can do it. And again, I'm not saying it's a cakewalk. I can't stand when people are like, well, it was easy for you. You're a diamond. It wasn't easy. Nothing's easy. This is not easy. This is work. Somebody made a statement. They were like, it's not net wish marketing. It's network marketing. I'm like, yeah, like we didn't sign up and hope that it went somewhere. You didn't accept your job and then just go home and not show up and get paid. Like, find hours to clock in. If you cannot figure it out today, like, what's today, Monday? If you can't figure it out today and it just did not work and you didn't have time, then you find tomorrow. You talk to your family, your shareholders. If you're a single mom, then you say to your children, hey, let's get a goal together. If you will help mommy work this business, then let's think about a memory that you can make together. Maybe don't shoot for Disney or something that's like $5,000. Shoot for Six Flags. Like, your children want you. They want your time. So talk to your family about what is something that they want you guys to do together that can be their reward in it too. So when they're willing to say, okay, hey, mommy, like tonight, the baby Pierce, I call him a baby, he's 2. I was like, mommy's got to go downstairs and have a call. He's like, okay, call. And I was like, He was like, you sleep with me? I was like, well, mommy's going to go do her call. Remember, mommy doesn't have to go to work anymore. So mommy will be here with you tomorrow. So like, all my people know, like, I dropped a sample off today, and Moyer, he's the middle one. Moyer is like, you're always giving that slim to everybody. And I'm like, yes, that's mommy's work. Like, so we always talk about, this is mommy's work. And like, if I'm texting on my phone or something, the boys are trying to interrupt me, Rich will say, hey guys, mommy is working. So we try to always let them know I'm not just ignoring them or staying on my phone. But I also think it is very important for you to set time to put it down. As important as it is for you to set hours to work it, you also need to set time that you are 100% with your family. They are most important. So, when I was working, when I would get home, those next 3 hours were all my kids that and my husband, like, in the zone, 100% present to them, because they deserve that and they need that attention. So, which again means you've got to work smarter, not harder. So when they do go to bed, you've got to have your system. For me, that is a calendar. The fortune is in the follow-up. Statistically, sales are not made until like the 8th to 11th follow-up. So you need a calendar, and you need to know, when I have a second of time to jump in, who am I talking to today? Okay. I love the 3-3-3 system. When you are engaging with somebody and you're talking with them with a potential, and the conversation goes silent, mark them on your calendar 3 days later, and you reach back out to them 3 days out. If you don't hear anything, if it's cold again, you mark them on your calendar 3 more days. And then after the second time that you've followed your 3-3 rule, you put them on your calendar 3 months out. You live and die by that calendar, because it's so important to be smart with that time. Jump in, open your calendar. Who am I reaching out to today? Boom, 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 and I'm out. I really, working smarter, not harder is my jam, because I don't want to spend all day working on Plexus. Nobody wants to do that. We want freedom. We want time freedom. So get a system. Don't mindlessly waste your time scrolling through Facebook. When you're making a post, make it authentic, make it you, and be done. Don't worry about spending 100 hours finding the perfect post. Just share you do you, and go quickly and be done. If you're sharing authentically, then that's what people are wanting to listen to anyway. They don't want to see a graphic. They want to know, here I am going to the park with 100 kids in tow, and I'm making it. I mean, like, thank you for my slim and balancing my blood sugar. Like, share you. I kind of went off on a tangent. Okay, one more thing. So this is sales, and we like to think of it as sharing, which is the way we prefer to do it, not sales. But let's be honest. In sales, there are seasons. You are not always going to be at the top of your game. You're not always going to be raking in 100 preferred customers. I will tell you, I am a diamond ambassador, and I think I have personally sponsored 45 people in 3 years. Ambassadors, not customers. I am very strategic that if you are not wanting to work the business, you go in the preferred customer bucket, because I make more money on you. So I put customers where they should go, and I put ambassadors where they should go. But I'm telling you that because I think people think, oh, well, she must recruit a bunch. It's hard for me to add 3 people every single month. My goal is to add 3 ambassadors every month. It doesn't always happen that way. So, but in sales, there are seasons where there are highs and lows. So what do we do in the seasons when it is slow? We're farmers. When it is a drought, what are we doing? Remember, action creates momentum. So So when you're in a slow season, instead of sitting around and be like, "Ah, I don't have any customers, nobody wants to do this," well, that's not going to get you anywhere. We need to be building those relationships. Make it a point. My accountability group right now, we have them reaching out to 10 people a week. I think that number is a little on the low side, but start there. I want people to have goals that they can achieve. This week, reach out to 10 people to build a relationship with them. Dig deep, high school friends, elementary school friends, college friends, work friends, whatever it is. 10 people of just relationship building this week. That will grow into you being able to offer Plexus. But just remember, momentum that creates that action creates momentum. We all are looking for the momentum. So don't wallow in where we are if we're having a slow season. Put forth the work, because we're planting those seeds. We're plowing that field. That is going to produce the fruit later on, I promise. And just, I think those are all my tips on my little list. But just remember, my biggest thing is keep your blinders on. We all have a lot going on. If I can do it, you can do it. The one little thing, okay, so I wanted to hit diamond for 6 months in a row. I kept having these checklists in my head. I wanted to be emerald, so I did that. Well, then I wanted to be diamond, and I did that. Well, then I wanted to hit diamond for 6 months in a row. And I feel like the Lord was like, sister, are you ever going to just rely on me? Like, what is wrong with you? And so I worked for the largest health insurer in the state of Alabama. I carried my family's health insurance. I had a pension. We don't even offer a pension anymore. I was vested in a pension that is not offered anymore. I could not, I had flexibility. I'd go into the office at 9 and I would leave by 3:30. I never missed anything for my kids. I had the best flexibility that there is. So there's nobody in the world that's taking a greater risk in Plexus than me, but I believe in this company. I believe, and I am a big contributor to our family pre-Plexus. So I have to be doing something. But fear that is messed up my business all the way through mentally is what was holding me back. It's just crazy. So don't let fear creep in. Don't let fear tell you that you're not enough, that you won't be successful, that you can't do this. Because that is just a lie. Fear. I love that new song. If you haven't, if you've not heard of that, Fear is a Liar. If you've not, go to YouTube ASAP and listen to the song Fear is a Liar. Melissa, I'll send it to you so that you can share it just in case y'all have trouble finding it. But it is an amazing song. The Lord has brought all of us here for a reason. And I just think that is so important that we all step out on faith and go boldly and share, because if we are helping somebody be a better version of themselves, then they can serve better. They can serve their family. They can serve those that need it. Now that I have this time freedom, I can serve more. Like, that is what we're here for, guys. That is what we're here for. So I just thank you so much for your time. If anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions?
I do.
Okay, Cindy.
Hi, Rebekah. Thank you so much for taking time tonight to really pour into us. This has been really, really good. I guess my question is, with the amount of people you have on your team right now, like you said, your level ones, when you do sit down to work and you focus that time, what does a typical, hour or two for you look like?
Well, so I think it's a little bit different at this point because I have a lot of different buckets that I'm checking in with. I'm checking in. I have 5 jewels. So I have 3 level 2 jewels. And I mostly start with here. Let me rewind. As your team gets bigger, it is hard to balance. Do I work on my business, which is I consider Rebekah's personal business, or do I work with my team? And it is so important for duplication and pouring into our team. And sometimes Rebekah gets lost in helping others. And, because the best way for me to train my team, I have a little one that just crept down the stairs. The best way for me to train my team is for me to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. But look, wave everybody and say, this is Moyer. All right.
Hello.
Where is he?
He's in our room.
Oh.
So the best way for me to train my team is for me to show them what I'm doing. But I just think focus on you. Like I said, I have my calendar where I'm doing my who I'm reaching out to that day, and I have my little method. Like usually on the far right side of my calendar where I have a little area to write names. I write all my prospects there, people that I'm actively reaching out to. And then when I'm engaging with people, I have them written in my calendar. That's for my business. And I'm always thinking who is somebody that I like in my community. Crazy enough, they're all going to think this is insane. I am diamond and my community is still untapped. I live in Mountain Brook, Alabama, and that it's a very high population of like attorneys and doctors. So it's a hard community to tap into. So I'm still actively plugging into who can I, add on my team in my community. But the rest of my time really is spent, speaking with my jewels and just saying, okay, who can I pour into? My love language is speaking life into people. So I work better one-on-one. And I like to have that conversation with my girls know, like, who is on your team that is struggling, who needs encouragement. I love just to talk to people just about life. Like, how are you doing? How are you working the business in? What is your strategy? And trying to help people figure out where they can work the business in. And then just like talking about, well, what are you struggling with? A lot of times people are just struggling with life and just letting people knowing there's someone in their corner, just encouraging them. And I just love to do that. I love to speak life into people. So I'd really try to be real strategic about, listening to my team to hear who could just use a pick me up just in general. My Brooke Smith, she is our red, like, business, do this. And I come in behind her and she's always like, oh, you got to call this one. Like, because we joke, like, no love, but like, that's not her thing. Coddling people is not her thing. And so I'm behind her, like, being the cheerleader to our team. So I don't know if that helps. I kind of went all over.
I love that.
No, it does. It helps a lot. I appreciate that. Thank you.
For sure.
Christina, did you have a question?
Yes. Hi, Rebekah. Thanks so much. You said that you qualify people like for business. So do you always, like, how does that look like? And do you go in with the business first with everybody, or?
I used to really, I hate to say prejudge, because we should never prejudge people, because I prejudged Kelly Godwin, who was an Emerald on my team. She's an attorney, and she was like wanting the products. And so I talked to her about the products, and she was like, well, what about the business? She asked me about the business. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. But I think if you have a good grasp on people, if you're nervous about the person totally shooting down the business idea, then just talk about the products. Some of the best ambassadors in the world are happy customers. And as what I really like to focus on, my new people, the way they make the most money is PV, right? And so I want my new people to have high PV so that they can see right out the gate, oh, wow, I made $600 last month. That's incredible. And I think people can get really overwhelmed by like trying to do both at the same time, because we always say your goal is to have 500 PV and to add 3 ambassadors. Well, I always tell people that is their goal. But if I feel that they're struggling, ambassadors, I'm like, look, happy customers make the best ambassadors. Let's focus on getting that PV high, because to me, it usually those that have higher PV seem to just historically do better in building a business as well. So for me, it is some slight prejudging into what bucket I think they should go into. I used to offer to people, we have 3 ways to buy. No, I do not do that anymore. If you are coming to me, I put you in whatever bucket I want you in. like my friend, unless you push me, and I'll tell you the options if you push me, but if you don't ask, I don't tell. If I need a new preferred customer, then I'm like, okay, I'll send them preferred customer instructions. Like with this silver bonus right now, I always encourage people, if they don't want to work the business, put them as preferred customer. But I have one person away. I'm like, okay, well, the next person we're going to sign as an ambassador, because it's crazy to miss out on this bonus. Now, something I didn't say that I struggle with in the beginning is I'm a people pleaser. And I've learned that. I knew that about myself, but in sales, in the beginning, when let's face it, Plexus is expensive. So when you're talking to people and they're like, well, how much is it? And you're like, well, after taxes, it's a little over $100, right around $140. So when I would talk to people and go to tell them about the products, I was not bold with, you need to try these products for 60 to 90 days. Like, you need to turn on your convenience order and you really need to stick with it. I was kind of skirting around that. And I found now, like, if someone signs up as ambassador under you and they don't have that convenience order on, then you need to go ahead and reach out to them. Hey, you missed within a day. It's a very important step. You don't have your convenience order turned on. I can show you how to do that. And if we're catching those people early on, that conversation should have been had while you were kind of courting them, per se, to say, hey, our products heal your body from the inside out. So you really need to give it 60 to 90 days. So if you're telling them that in the beginning, then they're willing to put on those backup orders and stay around longer, which is all working together, because we know if they'll stick with our products to 60 to 90 days, they're probably going to like it. If they know mentally, it's not a miracle cure. I'm not going to,
Right.
2 days in, feel so different. I kind of, again, went in another rabbit hole. But my point is setting those expectations when we're talking to prospects. But if I don't feel, I've offered different ways. If it's somebody that I'm dying to have on the team with me, then I've said, the way I started in the beginning was, you have to do this. My friend's making $12,000 a month. And then when my checks started getting crazy, I was like, oh my goodness, I would screenshot, can you believe this is what's happening? And I was very open. Now there's some people that would turn off. So you have to know if that would be attractive, because some people want to know who they can help, and they don't want, I have 2 anesthesiologist wife on my team. They're not in it for the money. They're in it for who they can help. So you really need to know who you're talking with. So I say don't prejudge, but you kind of need to a little bit to know you need to know your audience and know what you're offering them. Does that make sense? Does that help at all?
Yeah, thank you.
Wow. Anybody else? Rebekah, I have a new girl crush on you. So this was the most amazing call. Oh, and Stephanie says same. Okay, I get her first because I was the introducer, guys. So just kidding.